Hey guys, welcome to Sopi Studio Umbiamas, conectando Aruba com o mundo via vídeo podcasting. Conectar conosco, compartilhar ideias e histórias para nos inspirar e para conan abrir. Sopi Studio é plataforma de podcast na Aruba. Follow-nos riba Facebook, subscribe riba YouTube ou riba plataforma de podcast preferido. Escute o podcast preferido que hora e onde que tá. Sopi Studio, powered by Qredits. Botiu ideia? Qredits educava e prepara abo para ser um empresário exitoso. De business plan, guia personal e préstamo para negócio até com 100,000 florin. Bira bom mês donho com Qredits. Sopway. Passa na Sopway para o sop, salada, wrap ou flatbread e mais fresco. Com 7 localidades rond Aruba. Nós está cerca de Ibo. Sopway. SwingMasterz. Organizando events, conferences of weddings, mister de luz, sound, staging, DJ, trussing of flat screen, SwingMasterz está claro para ser boa fiesta éxito. SwingMasterz. E agora, Sopi Studio é plataforma de podcast de Aruba está apresentar
PillowTalk, powered by SuccessBlizz. There is no force more powerful than a woman determined to rise. Yonilove, seduced from within. Matiz, enhancing your brand.
Good evening. Welcome, PillowTalk listeners, to Wednesday Night for Lovers. It is another night to talk about some very interesting conversations. We have our wonderful hosts today with us. We have Dina, Ariana, and Brian. Good evening and welcome.
Nachi.
Good evening.
How's everybody doing this evening?
Very, very well.
Nice. Brian, Dushi.
Oh, hello, everyone. How are you? Happy to be back this week.
Definitely. So in this month of love, we've decided to talk about things that will definitely tap into those love hormones, love nerves, love feelings. Today we're going to talk about sensuality. What is sensuality and when we add it to intimacy? Before we go ahead and talk about our topic on PillowTalk, I would like to thank our sponsors. Our sponsors are Subway, SwingMasterz, Qredits, and of course Yonilove, SuccessBlizz, and Matiz. And of course, here tonight at Sopi Studio, PillowTalk is going to blow your mind. So ladies, sensuality. I looked it up in the dictionary, and the dictionary tells me sensuality is the enjoyment, expression of pursuit or physical, especially sexual pleasure. The condition of being pleasing or fulfilling to the senses. So, how do we, as the lady sexynistas from PillowTalk, tap into sensuality? Ariana, let's start with you because this is our Kizumba queen, and she has her Kisensual little workshops which really tap into women's sensuality, but you talk a lot about the feminine and the masculine energy. So I want to give you the floor and tell us a little bit about the sensuality topic.
All right. Thank you, Chantal. So yes, I am specialized in sensuality. I give Kizomba sensual dance class. I teach actually for ladies only at the moment. But why sensuality? As I mentioned in the prior podcast that we did, I ask all my students, all those beautiful ladies that come to my classes, what sensuality means to them. And they say sexiness, they say feeling themselves, and those are the two most comments that they give. And then I explain to them that it's about getting into connection with all your senses. And in dancing, we only tackle one part of it, or you can say two parts of it, because it's the hearing and the energy, the movement and the feeling. So how can you be able to be sensual when hearing? Like people's gonna ask, just like you read in the dictionary, about pleasure, and how can hearing be pleasurable? It can actually be very
Definitely.
pleasurable. So there's different ways that you can practice this. For example, meditation is also a sensual practice because you are in fully motion of your hearing if you're going to do a meditation with a specific kind of sound or a frequency. that you can tap into that sense in your senses of hearing. Then the part of movement and how I like to bring them together is when you hear a type of music and how do you feel to move. If you, like now we're listening to very soft and nice music, and I'm not going, it doesn't fit.
No, that
I
doesn't
feel
fit.
like I can just move so smoothly with it. So I unify these two senses. And that's a part that you can enhance your sensuality while dancing. So that's a part. And how do you use the feminine and the masculine? We talk about energy. We don't talk about gender. It's all about the energy and how are you going to use it. And I always like to bring together the duality of both. So not just only feminine, but the masculine. That brings the masculine energy, brings the secureness, the stableness, and then the sensual part of the feminine is being vulnerable, being nurturing, and we are pleasurable beings. So those two together, then you can create that. Then that's where the confidence comes in. But we're gonna leave that a bit later on because that's also a topic that we have to talk about.
Wow,
So, yeah.
nice. So you were just talking about sound when it comes to sensuality. How does that tap into sensuality? I'll give you a good example. When you talk about radio, a good radio voice that taps into your senses and that creates, you talk about the song, the music that we have in the background, but even your voice, Ariana, as you give classes. So I had the pleasure of joining her workshop for self-discovery and sensuality, and it's all those factors together that really tap into that sensuality, the whole definition of it. So
Yes.
very nice way of putting it. Thank you very much.
Thank you.
Dina, our beautiful Dina, how are you?
Hi, ladies. I'm happy to be here. This is my topic also, but in a kind of, I will bring it in another way because I came from another entrance, not kind of dancing, but I've been meditating for 23 years.
Wow.
Yes, and you know what, ladies? Every time I go deeper into my meditation, into silencing my mind, silencing my thoughts, when I wake up, I was like very aroused, ready to have a great sex, and the people, my fellow colleagues in this group, I kind of got the feeling that I should not allow that to come up. So we didn't know different. Okay.
You're talking about in your spiritual group.
Yeah, but not. It was a meeting. It wasn't like that. Okay, because we weren't talking about it.
Because you were more in the spiritual being instead of the
Yes, and
sensual.
this is,
Yeah,
I
I
was
get it.
feeling like it shouldn't come up, but it came twice as much. That feeling of arousal and ready to go and ready to have my orgasm and feel myself. So in my journey, I wanted to share something with you guys. I started silencing my mind for a lot of years. But the last, I think, 15 years, I wanted more, about something more than empty presence. And I was seeking it through different kind of ways, through intimacy with my partner, having a good toy, having oils, massage, different things to suit that sensual part of me. Okay? So during a meditation, I wanted something more than nothing. Because I was looking for nothing, but I wanted something more, but my body was asking for it. My feminine soul began to crave more of life because I was silencing my mind. I wasn't content to sit in silent meditation and let the world pass me by. It was a choice. I wanted to awaken my body, to be in my body, to move my body, to love my body, to share the love with the world. That's what I wanted. That's the reason why I started my business. I wanted to feel desires, to desire myself. I wanted to experience deep pleasure. Those were things that came up during meditation, after my meditation, and during my growth and matureness in that. And I wanted to enjoy the life that existed around me, not shut it out by emptying my being into nothingness. And a lot of gurus do that, okay?
Yes.
I wanted to take my emotions into myself and really feel them all consciously. I chose to open out my heart to all of my life. After experiencing all of that, my feminine soul wanted a life of authentic feminine empowerment. That's what I'm living now. And that's why my mission and my core, I named it like this, and it starts, PillowTalk starts with my message.
Your logo and your message, yes.
There is no force more powerful than a woman determined to rise. And that's me. My business is me. When someone starts talking to me and they tell me, hey, I'm not your client. No, you're not my client. I live my business.
Yeah.
So I talk, the way I talk in my office, I talk with someone new.
That's just how you are.
This is who I am.
Yeah.
Yes. So that's what I wanted to share with you guys. Sensuality is you will experience it while you get yourself much more mature, you grow up. That's an experience.
I would like to share something as well. The name that I came up with, the Sensual, it also comes of the journey of rediscovering myself. Just like Dina said, the hours or years that you put into meditation, and when you clear your mind, that you come at a certain point that there's clarity, and now you open a room that you can go get the desires that you truly wanted without having shame, without having fear, without having to deal with any of those things, because with the meditation you clear them out. And then it was the journey that I took upon myself, because I am a mother of 3, and I had a hard time at first being able to tap into my sensuality, because we are raised in a very masculine type of society, and women tend to become, even in a way that we have to bring secureness to the table, we have to bring a protection to the table, and when we actually, that is not the best of our ability, because we are feminine. And in that journey, going into the rediscovery of myself, being a mom and having that stigma of I'm a mom and I can't make time for myself, because then you're putting your kids aside. And I felt guilty for so long for just making 1 hour a day for myself. And since I started doing that, I realized even the chemistry that I had within myself, even my kids started giving me comments or compliments. Ma, you're very nice. You don't get angry that much. And it was just making time. If you're going to meditate, or if you're going to masturbate, or whatever it is that you create to be in connection with your senses, that's how Sensual was born. And
Nice.
I have a passion. I love dancing, and Kizomba is the dance that I prefer. So do the math.
So you ladies talk about that sensuality for the female side, as to how important it is to tap into your inner being, your inner you, make love to yourself, love yourself, feel desired by you, not by anybody outside, but first by you. The main goal here, or the main point or topic of today when we talk about sensuality, is it begins with you. It begins with focusing on you and creating that love for you, and then you can share it with everybody else. Dina said, I wanted to share my love with everybody else by tapping into your own spiritual and sensual side. For women, your point is very, very on point. For most women who have babies, they forget about themselves as women. They become moms, they become wives, they become girlfriend, they become sister, they become everything but a woman. That happens so often. But it's the same for men too. Well, they don't have kids, but they have kids in a different way. But they also tend to forget themselves. Life takes over. So this topic of sensuality is extremely important, and should be something we don't forget. Adding it onto the sexual side, also very, very important. So yeah, definitely interesting topics. I know Dina wants to say something, and then I want to pass it on to our lovely Brian, because I want to hear from Brian on from the male perspective when it comes to sensuality. But Dina, go ahead.
Yeah, I would like to tap on into what Ariana just
Open up
said
so many
about.
job opportunities and so many opportunities for artists.
And yes, we are live.
Sorry, I know what that was.
Sorry. My experience has been that all women secretly, deeply desire to be sensual. And at our core, we all want to feel pleasure. However, to have it course through us in our work or in our intimate relationship or life, yet at the same time, many of us believe, I'm not beautiful enough to be sensual. I'm not sensual woman. I would know how to be authentically. I don't have time to be sensual. You know how many women tell me that? How many clients tell me that? It's not productive to be sensual. It should be hard. Yes. So I'm throwing these things because these are everyday topics. Okay, I get this every day. Yeah.
I want to tap into it's not productive to be sensual, because I have been through that experience where you work in a man-dominated world and you're supposed to be tough and hard. And if you're too sexy or too sensual, they find you soft.
Or easy.
So I had that mentality and thought process as well. But when I tapped into this world with you, Dina, and with you, Ariana and Brian, so the sexiness and enticed me, I learned to focus that energy differently. And that sensuality, ladies out there, is extremely important. Yes. It is not true that it's counterproductive. It is actually very productive. When you are on top of your game, if you love yourself and you show that confidence and that sensual side of you, which doesn't have to be sleazy or outside of the box, it can be very small details. You glow, and definitely you are more in demand in a positive way.
You know, Chantal, we are taught and we are sold. Sensuality means you look sexy, just slutty. And that's not true.
Nope.
That's far from it.
Sensuality, but we were also taught and sold. Sensuality is something you do. Sensuality is something you do to get the attraction of the opposite sex. It's nonsense.
Nope.
Okay? Another thing that we were told or taught or sold, unless I have the perfect body, I'm not beautiful enough to be sensual. What is a perfect body?
Yep. Who says what the perfect body is?
Yes.
Who dictates that?
Yes.
Yep.
Another point, using your sensual power means you are undermining your intelligence. That is
Totally
bullshit.
not true.
No.
Okay? You are born in a body of a woman.
Yep.
You were born with beautiful legs, beautiful breasts, and beautiful lips. You should use them.
Yes, definitely. Definitely. So
The last point is sensuality is the opposite of feminism. No, sensuality is
feminism.
Being feminine.
Yes,
So
totally.
that's what we are introducing. Because I like Entice Me. Before I give Brian the
floor.
word, I like Entice Me because we are not selling skin. We are not selling body. We are selling education. We are selling more than what's out there. And specifically for women. Specifically for women.
Yep. Because women for so long have been undermined and underappreciated. But you know that even if you are a size 10, a size 2, or a size 30, you're still beautiful.
Yeah.
Absolutely gorgeous. You need to look at yourself in the mirror and believe it and see it. Because, and this is something that I have to say, being in a relationship is what I've learned now, that we have a perception of ourselves, but the ones that love us see us the way we really are, which we do not see.
But there are some stuff happening out there that I have a story that this usually happens. It happens a lot. I know a woman, she was a size 10. And in a Christmas pack gift of her boyfriend, she got a dress size 6. And he said, you should go in that dress by January.
Should fit in that dress by January. Wow, that's a slap in the face. Talk about making me feel uncomfortable.
She took it like as a joke. It's like, I'm going to make it. That's no joke. That's a disrespect.
Yes.
That's a slap in the face in your face. So, I we are. I like this podcast because some things that are happening out there, we are allowed or we can. I have a mean to tell the women stop taking this disrespectful
Behaviors.
handlings of behaviors. Yes.
Yeah, very true. Like for us women who are in higher positions or in any positions where it's male dominated, many times we are undermined or we like put pressure and we have to lower our heads because it's like, oh, you're just a woman or you are female, you're not male enough. I tend to use very often, and I get in trouble, I do, I know. But I always say if my balls were between my legs, you would talk to me very differently. But my balls are under my chin. Deal with it. That doesn't make me any different. Yes, I bleed. Yes, I have emotions, but I can get the shit done. It doesn't mean because I'm a female and because I love my body and I smile and I wear a skirt and heels that I'm easy or sleazy. I can still be beautiful and gorgeous in any shape or size that I am. And oh, sorry. This is what happens when you go live. All the little technical difficulties. I love it. It just broke my trail of thought. But ladies out there, you need to learn to love yourself and respect yourself and do not take any disrespect. Yes. So enough about us right now. Now I want to turn the tables to Brian. I want to hear from you because not only the male perspective, but also when it comes to the gay community with sensuality. I think those are two very interesting topics. So go ahead.
So, when I was looking to design the poster or the flyer for this podcast, for this episode, and I wrote down on the search of the image sensuality, the first thing that I saw was mostly woman naked, very sexual, and there's a lot of misconfusion about what is real sensuality. And my belief about sensuality start with, for me, sensuality is an energy. It's an energy that you carry on. And even, when I wrote down sensual and the word men, it was like also the same thing. It was going to the sexual part. It was going for the body. It was going for not even what exactly sensuality means. And I feel men doesn't know about it. Men doesn't know that they can be sensual. I give us a workshop where I teach people about the dirty talk, how to talk more openly about sex with their partner and be more sexual and seduce with words. And one of the first things that I teach in this workshop is that even you don't have to use words. Even you can use your breathing, because there's a practice that you come close to your partner and you just breathe to his ear and you just do the sound of pleasure, because you just like do like and that arouse your partner, and that's sensual. You're not doing anything, you're not masturbating, you're not touching, you're just using your voice, and that is sensual already. So for men, they have been learned that the woman is the one that have to be sensual, not the man. And a man that have the power of being sensual, they have this confidence, that have this energy, it will get any woman in the world. Believe me, I met many women that have the opportunity to meet a man that have this power of being sensual, and they get crazy about it. They cannot live with that man because they said this man have something that I don't understand. I don't know if you saw a movie that the name is Hitch, I think.
Yes, Hitch
The
with Will
guy that
Smith.
this man is a little bit of the description of what is being sensual, how to get a woman. Oh, those that being a gentleman is essential. Being respectful, treating a woman like a queen is respectful and sensual at the same time. Those things, the sensual is not about what you're doing in sex or what you wear actually, because also I learn people about BDSM and or bondage or dominance and submissive, and it's not actually BDSM is not about wearing leather and wearing all this harness and all these things on jock straps. Everything is not about that. It's the energy that you carry on in that moment. It's how you act, the actions, the power that you bring into the moment, and it's not about the clothing or the accessories. that is just add-ons to your body. I had the opportunity once. I met a guy, and I don't have a fit body. I don't even like the gym. So I was sending him pictures, and I was texting him, and I was sending him pictures of my body, and I was posting, and I was like, and he was like, "Wow, you're so sexy, so sensual, wow." And I was like, he was like, "Your body looks gorgeous." And I said to him, "It's not the body, it's just the energy that I have with me."
Exactly.
Because it's how you express yourself. If you are shy, or you block yourself, and you're like, "Oh my god, I look ugly," that's the energy that you send it out there. But if you come with that, because that's why I said, when you look for sensuality in the dictionary, you find a picture of Ariana next to it, because she comes, and I see her video. If you look for Ariana in her Instagram, you see her dressing, dancing, and she doesn't care about anything. She have that energy, and I feel like every woman needs that energy, and every man needs to carry on that energy, because actually that energy not only will take you to have better sex relationship, or a better relationship with your partner, but it will take you to everything that you want in life. Because when you have that energy, when you know that you are who you are, and you have that confidence, you get whatever you want, and whatever you want in life for yourself. Any goal, you will make it.
Very true. Very well
Amen.
put, Brian.
Amen.
Thank you, Brian. I would like to add on something to what Brian said, because we were talking first about the very male-dominant society that we are raised in. I would like to add on, in front of the male, it's a toxic male. Because like Brian said,
Yeah.
you have a lot of male that they are charismatic, they are gentlemen, and they do treat women as they get treated. We do have that care and that nurturing and that loving, and you do get men that are like that.
Yes.
So for everybody, it's a toxic male that you were talking about, because we have very nice male.
Yes, of
Yeah,
course.
and I think
Here.
it has a lot to do with your upbringing and what
Yeah.
your norms and values are. I come from second generation, so I come with my father from the Second World War, where they had that antique way of living, where you would stand up for a lady at the table, you would pull the chair out, you'd open the door. My dad would tell me he had a hat on, and they would take off the hat when the ladies would pass. So that's where the world that I grew up from, because that's what he taught me.
Yeah.
My brother is 6 years younger than I am, and he has those traits. And he would always tell me his girlfriends would always say, Patrick, like, "Oh my gosh, why are you so nice?" In his age group, and now younger as well, they don't have that. For me, it's normal to stand up if I see an elderly who's standing and I'm sitting. I'll stand up. That's normal.
Yeah.
For me, it's normal to say to anybody who's older than me, or somebody new, sir or Mrs. That's a form of respect. So when you talk about the sensuality and the energy that you give, Brian, I totally agree with you. It not only taps into the sexual side of it, but it taps into your everyday life.
Yes.
You talk about being a gentleman. Being a gentleman, for those gentlemen out there who think, koi loco, being a gentleman will definitely tap in and make your woman also feel more sensual towards you.
Yeah.
It helps, because the energy you give is the energy you project. What you give, what you get.
Yeah.
If you're going to give toxicity, that's what you're going to get in return.
Yes. I would like to add more on that.
Mm-hmm.
Our culture, our environment do entertain a lot of jokes.
Yes.
That's in. I'm tending like, am I becoming too old, too grown up? I think sometimes I do. I need to reassess what my
Sense of humor.
feelings. Yes.
And that's also
So-
senses, no? Humor
yes,
is also a sense.
yes.
Yep.
So I'm kind of no, Dina. It's like we need to stay gentlemen and gentlewomen.
Mm-hmm.
That's a point. What I wanted to share also is like, sometimes you're in business, and I have this a lot, and my lips become like very dry, and then I don't want to put my tongue on it, because it provides the
do it a
man
lot.
in
I do
front
it a
of me,
lot.
like his eyes lower to my lip, and it's like, oh shit, I just I crossed the line. So it's like
And then it's insane that you actually think that.
Yeah, but
you know?
it
But
is like
yeah.
that because you immediately the eyes go low on your lips. It's like you can feel it because that's sensual.
Yeah.
But my lips were dry.
There was
It was
nothing
just
else.
hydration.
Yep.
Yes.
It
but-
wasn't actually, but that's the part of something very simple becomes actually sexualized.
Yep.
Because if the male is not thinking about sex all the time, sex is not happening in the mind. If it's connected with the spirituality, because
Yes.
Dina wanted to say something actually
Yes, but-
about.
yes, I like that you helped me say it because it's our thing. Okay, so
Yeah.
go ahead.
Yeah,
Go ahead.
so I love how Dina put it. Sensuality is the new spirituality. And if you have a male, a guy, that, like Dina said, she just wanted to hydrate her lips. She didn't have labello on the side, And the guy looked at her as if, okay, is she giving me a sign
She's
or
giving
what?
me a sign.
Yep.
But the actuality of it is that this person, maybe, because I am not certain of it, maybe this person has something yet to learn about how his relation with sex is and what actually are actual sexual signs that a woman will give you. So that's something very important.
And not every time if a lady licks their lips, it's a sexual
No, it's dry
gesture.
lips.
It's just dry lips. But very, very good point, Dina. I do agree with you. That's why I say it's insane that you automatically have to think twice, like, oh gosh, was this a sexual gesture when it wasn't?
But it is sensual.
Yes,
sensual,
it's
yeah.
very
It's
sensual.
sensual.
Like,
If you like it
let
or
me bring
not.
this.
Yes, that go ahead.
Some guys, they're 100% straight, but they have this thing that they like to blink the eye.
Wink.
So they just do it with everyone. Like they just like.
No,
And
that's
they,
hot.
I'm like,
That's hot.
I'm like, that's very hot. But that doesn't mean
It
he's
is.
flirting with me. It's just that he's very nice and he just did it. It's like Dina said with the lips. Okay, there's guys that do that, and they have this confidence and they know that they can do that and smile to you, and they're not flirting. Just they have this energy.
Yep.
They know that they're very handsome.
And Dina
So,
also
yeah.
Dina also is very sensual. So
Yeah, now that the last couple of years, I was like I was telling you guys, last couple of years I was like astonished, and I do preach this in my office. I do preach this. Not every connection is a sexual connection or romantic connection. Some of the connections are you need to work together. You don't need necessarily to go and sleep with each other.
It's not
Okay?
always that a male and a female or a male, female, whatever, that two bodies meet each other and it has to be,
No.
a sexual connection. You can have a sensual energy which has nothing to do with the sexual side of it. That's true.
I would like to say something about that because we said a while ago sensuality and intimacy, and we tend to think intimacy means sex, but intimacy is not sex. Intimacy is when you get in a connection to be very intimate with a person. It can be with very personal information that you feel that you can trust this person to share on many levels of trust. Because, for example, I have a certain level of trust with teachers. I have a certain trust with my husband. I have a certain level of trust with my mother-in-law. So it's the level, the range that we get to take on how far can we have intimacy. We can have intimacy with a very good friend, a very girlfriend, or that doesn't mean that we're having sex with them.
Correct.
So you all agree with me if you say sensuality is not something you do, it's something you are.
Yes, totally.
If
You
I
are,
want
exactly.
to lick my
Not
lips,
not even
it's me licking my lips.
not even something you wear, because all of that.
No, it's you.
Yep.
Yes.
And actually commercials, they sell it that way. Buy this thing to be sensual.
Yep.
And I saw, like, honestly, when I started working with Dina, because my journey to being a sexinista started with working with Dina as her digital marketing manager. It was learning what was exactly sensuality. Because the first thing when I was working with Dina was like, okay, she sells sex toys, but I cannot sell them as sex toys. The posters have been they're not sexual, they're sensual. But how I gonna express sensual if I'm not showing a vulva or a penis? But then it was confusing for me. I was like, at the first month
But you
was
did
very
it.
stressful because I'm talking about sex, but I cannot show sex because it's not sex. It was like a headache for me. Then
It was a sexual awakening.
Yep. Nicely put.
exactly, yes,
Yeah.
exactly. And then when I worked with Shanti, she wanted other way. She wanted another level. She wanted a goddess sitting in front of a mirror, and I was like,
I
where am I
will
gonna get
never
that
hear the end
goddess?
of that one.
I was like, I was like, oh my god, what she's talking about? How I gonna find a freaking goddess from heaven and break it down? And then I didn't know. I didn't know. I know all these goddess in this
Hey,
world
Brian.
that they can do that for me.
Brian, I'm going to make you remember. So you have to remember this. Because he was talking to Chantal, and then he goes in the back office, and he calls me, Dina, I cannot work with this woman. She wants a goddess. Where do I going to get the goddess? Brian, breathe. You need to work together, so breathe.
No, and now we are. She's my bigger sister. She's my yeah. But I learned, and actually I learned because marketing out there is all about every time that you talk about the intimate part of the woman or the man, or you want to about talk about sensuality, it's actually
Yes.
they're selling sex.
Yep.
Yes.
And people are tired of that.
Yes.
And people are like, actually they find it. Some people look. With my mom, I had an experience. We was I gonna share this is it's a conversation that I had with her because she's a beautiful woman. She have like 50 years, but she have a beautiful body. She look young. She's my mom is very cute, and
Yes, she is.
sometimes she like to dress like way older than her age, or not older, but she want to cover all her body. And I'm like, mom, but fashion is like this way. You can use a skirt or a dress or something that show a little bit more body. You have a beautiful body, so you can do it. And she's like, no, that's ordinary, or that's
Skanky.
not nice. And she criticize women that dress like that, women that show their body, or women that. And I explained to her, it's not about looking ordinary or looking sexual. It's about being sensual and feel that energy and feel that confidence. And she was like, no, but what about if a man look at her? I was like, listen, if a man look at her, it's the man's problem, because she's not giving any consent to the man to touch her or do anything to her. She want to dress that way. She want to look that way. She own it, and she have the right to do it. If the man abuse of her or do something to her, it's the man's fault. It's not her fault for how she dress or how she feel and she want to look sensual. Because what can be sensual for me, it cannot be sensual for you. Like, for example, for me, all the leather and the BDSM is sensual and hot for me and make me crazy. But for Dina, it's not her type of thing. Even she know about it.
Definitely not her
So
cup of tea.
that's different.
But you
You
know
know?
what my cup of tea is? Do you know that?
What?
Do you know what I like?
Oh no, you like a man that comes and do you a sensual massage and a
Big
Jody
hands.
massage and treat you like a goddess. Yeah, that's your style. For me, it's spank me and give me and tie me up. That's make
And
me
both
horny.
both
Yeah.
are sensual.
Uh-huh.
So
Both
that's
essential, exactly.
So
So I was talking to my mom and I was telling her, look, and then she put this example for me. She's like, if a woman come naked to the room, and your father is in the room and she come naked and she tried to do something to your dad, then she is being nasty or naughty. I'm like, yeah, but the woman is coming to the room
Uh-huh.
and getting into my father's personal space. She's jumping on the man. She's trying with my dad. It's not that my dad is trying something to her because she's naked. No, the woman came to his personal space, so she's giving consentment to something happen.
I would like to share something. You just said something very important, Brian, of how a woman how her thoughts can project on other women of how she is thinking herself, if I'm saying that correctly. We mentioned about being growing up in a toxic male society and the pressure that we get to endure as female. Something that I learned in the journey of self-discovery, and that I also teach the other ladies, or goddesses as I love to call them, when they come to my classes. The projection that we have of not feeling comfortable when we see another person wearing something, the judgment means that you are judging yourself. You are not talking about this other person. So when you express this is your wound. This is yours, that you have to work on it. So Brian said something very, very, I find it funny. When you go on my Instagram page and you see all these videos of me dancing, and a lot of people started asking me questions, why are you doing that? You are not like that. You were not raised like that, this and that. All of that is not me. It's a part of me. And being comfortable with myself and being able to see myself and find myself beautiful, that is the right that I have. If I feel comfortable enough to do that, there's no person in this world that can come tell me that I can't.
Amen.
So, yeah.
Yep.
Amen.
Yep.
Yeah.
Yep. Definitely.
Now, something that I want to share also is that every person have the right to show what is sensual for them, how they feel comfortable, or how they want to look sensual, because each person is independent. I 3 years, no, more than 3 years ago, 4 years ago, I met this trans woman in Miami. She's one of the famous trans performers in Miami. And this woman, when I saw her, I the first thing that came into my mind is that I met the biggest boobs in my world. So it was like huge boobs and huge ass, and I was like, oh my god, that's ugly. I said it honestly 4 years ago. I said, this is ugly, this is horrible. But when I see the confidence of this woman getting on stage and dancing and performing and showing all her talent and how she feels comfortable of her own body and what for her is sexy and sensual, for me was like, wow, I like what I see. This woman, she owned her beautiness, and for her having a huge boobs and a huge ass is beauty for her. It's not depends on what I think what is beauty. It depends on what she thinks is beauty for her. And that was 4 years ago. Now 4 years later, she have a bigger boobs now, and I'm like, own it, girl, own it. You deserve it because that's beauty for you, and you deserve it. And I don't I stop judging people for how they dress or how they look or what is beauty for them or what they express as sensuality for them, because each person is a different world. Here in New York, I learned that. In the island, I think people have to learn more about that each person have the deserve and have the right to express themselves. Because here in New York, when I got in the train and I see all the people how they dress, it's like honestly, it's like a circus. But I enjoy it because every person is themselves, and nobody, there's some people that will look at them like, oh, you look strange. But at the same time, there will be people that they will pass next to you and they will say, yes, girl, you look amazing. And that's very nice. Even I started to do it here. When I moved here, I dress the way I want. I express the way I want my sexuality. That's why I learned about myself that I'm a person non-binary, because I don't have a description about what is gender for me, about how I have to look or how I have to dress or how I have to express my gender.
Yes. I would like to say something. When I was searching what to about this what we are talking about today, sensuality, I came across a lot of information. Okay, out there are a lot, but I liked when I reached sensuality is the new spirituality. Why? Because I translated it in my life, like I told in the beginning. I was in touch with my. I was like more confident in my sense with my body when I was ready with the zero thought. I reached that part of me. So for the women or men out there, sensuality, you need to know who you are, and we spoke about that. to get this, to make use and have that sensual soul with you, you need to have work need to be done on yourself, on your spirituality,
In the inner work.
yes, before you can reach there and be confident with your body. Okay, I take myself as an example again. More and more I have my clients and women. These are the ones that I cater. We need this information at an age of 0, as a baby. A mom or a father of the family should teach a baby from scratch to feel confident in the body. Okay, but we will have more topics like these, because sensuality, as I said, it's broad. Okay, we can use that in every topic that we have on PillowTalk. However, it's important, and it's the new spirituality. Because if you done your inner work, your the guru, you still have a body, and this body feels. This body is urges for sex. This body urges for you need food, you need water. All of these are part of being sensual. Okay, so that's what I wanted to end this sensuality.
If there's still time, I would like to add something.
Yes.
Okay,
Go ahead.
I would like to add something on what Dina said. By clearing the mind, I had in my own journey as well, how I saw confidence at first, how my perception of confidence was, and after going through the process of clearing the mind, because this is something that you have to do on a daily basis. If you're starting, and then at the long run, you will see how many meditations you actually need, if it's a daily, or if it's a minute or an hour or 30 minutes, or what I found in my process was I see confidence a bit like motivation, and clarity is like how do you say it? Clarity is like discipline. So regardless if motivation doesn't come, because motivation doesn't come every day, it depends on how we're feeling, but the discipline is the clarity that we have on how certain we are that who we are.
Yes.
And
Yes.
that we then can be confident at all times. Doesn't mean if I am giving, like, maybe today I'm 100% confident and then tomorrow I'm 75, I'm giving it. It does. We don't get to measure how it's given. So that was something I wanted to add on to what Dina
When I
said.
lived in Holland, we would go to Amsterdam, and it was like a culture shock when it came to the red light district, the sex, and all that stuff. Now, you have all the hookers, different type of hookers. You have the Asian hookers, you have the transgender, you have the beautiful women, you have the older ladies, and you have the old ladies. And back then, I don't think she's alive now, the oldest hooker was still hooking. Old lady. I'm talking 80 plus.
Okay.
Yeah, no joke. And there were people who loved her, and people would come, repeat customers. And I had seen on Netflix, when I was doing some research, I saw some of the after porn or after hooking life. And then there was this one lady, also 80 plus, in the US. She lives in Miami, and she was one of the oldest hookers back there. And then they would ask her, like, hey, what and why and how. But one thing she said always stayed with me. She's like, when I hooked, I loved sex. And when I was young, I was a hooker. I would just love to fuck. There was nothing else about it. But as I grew older and I got to learn more about my body, etc., it wasn't about the sex.
Yeah.
It was about sharing that experience, but it was not about taking or giving the experience. It was actually what was going on with my body. And when I was tapping into that, whatever sexual experience I had was beyond. And we're talking about a hooker who could, I don't know, sleep with 1,000 men on a time, I don't know, to each their own. But what stayed with me was the fact that she said that
when you talk about sex, it's not about just bang, bang, thank you. It's about that energy. And Brian talked about when you talk about sensuality, it's about the energy you share, the energy that you're projecting. Very, very important. He says, look in the dictionary and whose picture you see, Ariana. I have to agree with Brian in many ways because she definitely gives that projection of loving who you are completely 100% is extremely important. We as women so many times underestimate our beauty. It doesn't matter if you have a little extra here, extra there. You have those stripes, own them. You have a crooked nose, own it. You have your beauty in your own way. That sensual side of you needs to show. That confidence, you have to own it. And it's the same for the men because men also have shitty days and they don't feel beautiful. Some of them are not as great. That 90-60-90 projection or that Twiggy figure that everybody has to have, that's not the reality. There's another girl that I love to watch, Ashley Graham. She just had twins. Shout out to her. She is a plus size model. But she owns her body with her cellulite, with her stretch marks, with her whatever is offbeat in anybody else's view. She owns it. And the comments that people leave of her is something that just awes me every time. Like, oh my gosh, thank you for sharing. We women should love ourselves more. We should be on top of our game. You know, and it doesn't matter what size you have, you are beautiful. And that is something we need to share more. And you ladies, when you see your girlfriend and she looks beautiful, tell her, wow, you look amazing. You will see a change in her energy. It's okay.
Is there an Ariana Day?
Because we're putting Ariana on a pedestal and she's like, oh my gosh.
I would love that because you know why I'm saying that, Chantal? Because I do teach my women to the part of pelvic muscle training to use a dance, okay? But they don't film it. We don't film it, and we have Ariana's Day. Okay, but you usually don't film it. But maybe we should. Yes, it's nice.
Yep.
It's beautiful to make others, to make it very clear that you should have a dance every day.
Yeah.
Yes, you should.
It is very important.
Yes, celebrate. Yeah.
What I teach my students when they come to class, I advise them to, when they rehearse at home, to make a session for yourself. If you have to light candles, that's what I do. I light some candles. If you have those LED lights that you can change the colors in your room, create a very, very nice ambience and record yourself to see yourself in the process, because we never get to experience ourselves like an outer body experience that you can see yourself and you're actually living, you know. That's why we have a mirror, or we can record ourselves with a phone, and it's just for you. I tend to post them because I find it very empowering to share my journey with other women. I do get a lot of feedback of, how do you do it? And there wasn't somebody that told me, you should do this. What I use is, and this is what I told my ladies yesterday in class. So what I did, we had 2 rows, and I made the back row to sit down, and I left the other ladies in front of the mirror. And they were looking at me like, what is going on? I said, okay. I turned off the music. I said, I have an advice for you ladies. So all this feeling, all this emotion that you're actually feeling, you're scared, right? You're like, what is she going to do? I said, okay, you're going to use this energy as a fuel. You're going to use it as a stepping stone to boost what you're going to do. Because if you project fear, your next step, you're going to trip and fall. So you might as well use it to give it a bit of a boost. And if you almost trip and fall, that is going to be your next styling move. So embrace every step that you take, regardless if it's going to be a baby step or a huge step, or you have to be confident and be sure of how you're going to do it and go for it. Don't use the fear to hold you back, because then you're going to miss out on, after fear is everything that you want. Everything that you want. So that's what I told my ladies yesterday. And the funny part was, they danced the choreography and they didn't even make a mistake.
Because they owned it.
Yeah, props to my ladies from the Sensual Lady Styling class. I love you.
Nice.
Yes.
Such an interesting and very deep topic we talked about today. Ladies and Brian, I want to thank you for coming out tonight and taking the time to talk about this topic. It's definitely a topic that we could come back on in a different shape and form. But it is, the main thing here is, ladies and gentlemen, take that time for you. Sensuality is not sexual. It doesn't have to be something that you wear. It is what you are, who you are. Sensuality becoming the new spirituality is definitely a combination that I really like today. Take time, look in the mirror, film yourself, do crazy, do what you need to do, and that outer body experience, back at you and see what other people see. Those loved ones that tell you you're absolutely beautiful, you're desirable. You are enough. You are desirable, you are beautiful, you are sensual, you are sexy, you are a being that is absolutely out of this world. So I want to close off with that for tonight. I definitely want, before I do, because I need to do the powered by, thank you to our sponsors, Subway, Qredits, SwingMasterz, Yonilove, Matiz, and of course SuccessBlizz. Tonight here at Sopi Mix Studio, PillowTalk Live, Wednesday night, 8 p.m. I want to see you next week again, because we're going to have another topic. We're going to continue sharing this information for all of you out there. It is important, and we want to do it. We do it with love. We
Instagram.
Yes. Oh, yes. Sorry, Brian. Oh, I was told and I forgot. So here is the important stuff. 297 PillowTalk on Instagram. Follow us.
No,
Oh,
PillowTalk
shucks,
297. Oh,
Oh, sorry. Forgive me.
I quit.
This is great.
Okay. Wait. I didn't. That script did not go well. Okay, let me try that again. PillowTalk 297 on Instagram and on Facebook. Right? Okay, good. I'm learning this one. This is new for me. Follow us, share our page. You can find all the information, all of our flyers, all our information is there. We have short videos, highlights, and we share information with you. We want to be out there in the community. We want to share more information with all of you people who think that anything that has to do with intimacy and sex is something you don't talk about. It's something you hide in the covers. No, it's not. You are enough. You are beautiful. Sex, sensuality is okay to talk about. And we're here to make that happen and make it more normal. So, ladies and gentlemen, I want to thank you for being with us tonight. Dina, Ariana, and Brian, such a pleasure as always. I want to close off and tell you guys good night. Thank you. We'll see you guys next week. Ciao, ciao.
Pillow Talk, powered by SuccessBlizz. There is no force more powerful than a woman determined to rise. Yonilove, seduce from within. Matiz, enhancing your brand.